Welcome to the Treepot Couch. We're going to be talking today about Treepot Cliffhanger. With me, we have 3 directors that are involved in that project. We have Chris Chitaroni, we have Kristian Lariviere, and we also have Keith Wiggins. Welcome.
Thanks.
Hey,
thanks buddy.
for having us. This isn't a Keith. This is a sitcom.
And cheers.
Cheers.
Great. That's good. Okay, so who wants to start off by telling me a bit about the Cliffhanger project?
Start with number 1 here.
All right, well, the Cliffhanger project is a really cool idea that came about where, every director gets to run their own story and pass it on to the next to see where the next director takes it. And, we sat down before we started the project just to kind of set down ground rules. And we basically decided that there was going to be no ground rules. Except Caro asked that we don't do a horror. There you go, Chris.
Oops. Which I immediately ignored. It's just the way it happened. I didn't do it on purpose. It's just how it is.
So right now we just have 3 of you guys. There's also another 3 directors that are also involved in the project, right? So right now, all your 3 scenes have been shot. They're done. They're out there on the net for anybody who wants to watch them. So that's available.
So this is half a movie right here.
Half a movie. Awesome.
The better half, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. So how did you guys actually hear about the project?
I saw it on Craigslist. It was in the Men for Men personals.
Nice.
Don't ask why I was checking that.
No, Jith Paul kind of spearheaded this whole thing. He, it was kind of his idea. He put it out there saying, hey, we want to do this thing. So all the directors got to apply. And then he had people select the 6 directors who were going to make it.
Okay.
And then, then it was all, we randomly decided who got which segment, right? It was random, numbers were pulled. I got to pick first, which I picked the second segment, and then it just kind of kept going down the order like that. How did you get stuck with the first one?
I didn't get stuck, I chose it. I was the second one to choose. I was like, I'm not inheriting something stupid. So, not that anyone was going to do anything stupid, I just didn't want to risk it. So, we did something stupid ourselves.
I agree. Sabotage myself.
Wow. So you wanted the first segment?
Absolutely. I mean, being given the first segment gives you the chance to really set the pace.
Okay.
And, we'd always wanted to do something a little bit more, action-oriented, and it gave us a really good excuse to do it. And that's what...
See, that's interesting, because I specifically wanted one of the middle segments. Like, to me, it was like, not 1, not 6. Because for me, the fun of doing this was taking someone else's idea, screwing with it for 10, 15 minutes, and then passing it on to someone else and seeing what they do with it. Like, to me, that was the fun of this whole project. That's what made it different from just making my own movie.
Well, we wanted to screw with it first.
Oh, that's true.
Just shit rolls downhill.
It's true. That's all it's been. Well,
Wait a minute. I agreed to that, didn't I?
what about you? Like, how did you want to...
Roll
like,
back.
what segments would you have picked?
Well, you should probably explain why you didn't
Yeah, I
get
actually got brought in a little later because I can't remember the fellow's name who actually...
Alex Williams.
Alex Williams. So somebody had dropped out, and I got a message from Jith saying I was next kind of thing, and whether I'd like to do this project. So I haven't really done too many films. This is actually my only 4th film that I've ever made.
Okay.
So I went to my wife because she wasn't too happy with the amount of work that just goes into into these things, and she goes, "I'm there. It's a really good opportunity," and she said, "Well, go for it." So that's how I got involved. I said, "Yeah, I'll do it," and luckily, Chris here helped me out a little bit early, sort of ramping me up to speed because I didn't have any previous meetings with these guys. I never met any of them before.
Yeah, you had some...
So I had to catch up a little bit, and I saw what was done in the first 2, and I wanted to do my own little take on it as well. Like, I didn't probably lack of experience from other things. Like, I didn't have a lot of the resources to be able to do some of the things that they've probably did, so I had to sort of look at the storyline and
Nobody noticed. Did they?
And change it. So, but I worked with Jennifer Mulligan on the script. I had an idea right away of what I wanted to do, and I originally broke it down into 5 scenes, and
Actually, when you guys were doing your segments, did you think about the other directors at all? When
the whole time we were like, how can we fuck Chris over the most? And we were like, I mean, in casting the handyman, we almost cast some people that were like literally hobos. Just, you know,
you're gonna have to work with this guy.
Just he's gonna have to live on your couch while you do it. Like,
but about the handyman, like, I mean, we're each able to do whatever we want in our own segment, right? Mm-hmm. But you know, sometimes we do talk. Like, you were killing the handyman in your segment originally. That's how it ended. Like, you burned him up.
Well, no, the cliffhanger was him grabbing the wrench.
No, you burned him up. I asked you not to kill him. I was like,
you didn't kill him.
Not. No, exactly. I said, just give me an outcome.
Oh, you mean originally? Yes.
Yeah. Of course. In the first draft of the script I read, he was dead, done, gone. I'm like, please don't kill him. It's the only character in your segment with any kind of development. Please don't kill him.
What about Jules?
Like to use him. Jules doesn't count.
He's developed significantly. I mean, he's gone from like wanting out to wanting back in to just wanting his money. He doesn't know what he wants.
See, me screwing over Keith was not killing off Jules.
No, I liked it. I thought it was still pretty good. Like, you have to have a protagonist, right, in your story,
exactly.
right? So, I think just having the first part, having him voiceovering, you know, right away meant that he was a protagonist and that you're going to be following him all the way through. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing a voiceover.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, that's why I understood anyway from watching your parts.
It's all up in the air. I mean,
now, were you like so Chit? I'm gonna call you Chit, Chris Chitaroni. I'm just gonna call you.
Call me whatever you like.
Okay, I'll call you Chit. Okay, so but you've seen the other two parts completed. Did you expect the story at all to go in that direction that it's gone in? Is it like what surprised you about where the story has gone?
Well, I called exactly what Chris was going to do. I knew that, and I was so psyched when it happened.
Please, I told you while you were shooting. I came in and saw the actors like, I'm killing most of you off.
You're dead, you're cool.
I'm not doing a movie with 6 main characters. I'm killing half of you off.
It worked. But I mean, obviously I had no idea what to expect, because I mean, the third part, we expected Alex Williams to do it. And he was also living in Toronto at the time and wasn't sure if he was going to shoot down there or up here or what was going on. So then Keith stepped in, and that, again, no idea where we're going to go with that. Mm-hmm. And now we're looking at Caro's living in Toronto.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
We don't know if she's going to be shooting it down there or up here, or what's going on with that. So you never know, because things can change. I mean, and who knows what Luca's going to do? He's a man of mystery.
Yeah. And then Derek is the last guy on the chopping block.
I heard Derek's ending it with like a claymation, like those old Christmas cartoons.
It's a spiritual successor to Rudolph.
The handyman.
The handyman is Rudolph, naturally. Jules is the polar bear. No, the abominable snowman. Sorry, screw that. Please edit that out. Made me look like I don't know my Rudolph.
Okay, so Kristian, actually.
I'm out of beer. This is.
There's no beer. Where's our beer?
Where's our beer wench?
I can go.
Jith, you can be our beer wench.
I think right.
Yeah. I'll go. We'll keep rolling.
Oh, okay.
We'll keep rolling.
So this is when we talk about the guy in the middle there. So he left you with the dregs, the dead bodies.
Yeah, well, even after the first two, you're like, when you're trying to come up with a story, it's like, okay, most of the actors in Ottawa are dead, right? So it's like, okay, so there was a lot of females left, so that's why you see in my story that I actually tried to include in a lot of more female characters into the
Yeah, I saw Christina Roman, Ellen Manchi was in there as well.
Yeah.
Jennifer Mulligan was also in there.
Good part. Yeah.
Actually, the only qualm I have with your film was that the female security guards had their hair down. A female police officer or security guard never has hair down.
There weren't really security. They were.
Well, they sure looked like security. They had Jules in handcuffs.
Rope.
Fair.
No, I wanted the. I don't know. I wanted the look of the long hair when I saw the actresses. I don't know.
I agree. Girls look better with their hair down.
They do.
Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
So that's why I wanted to look good.
So not for actual accuracy on the role.
I have an open beer, but that's fine. Somehow I ended up with more beer. This will work.
Enjoy.
Thank you, sir. It's clearer than my last one.
I didn't realize you had a beer already.
Thank you, sir.
So right, where were we?
We were just talking about you.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty much.
And how we were pretty sure that you were crushed by the end of it. You were crying in the shower under extreme duress.
Oh yeah, it was hard to do.
Oh yeah.
No, honestly, it was a pleasure, and it was kind of fun to come into a segment. It's already cast, so a lot of my work's already done. The actors already kind of had a handle on their characters, which is great, because I'd write people like, she wouldn't say that. They're like, great, I don't know what I'm doing anyways. And then it was, it was just a lot of fun to just, because the first segment was a bit more action with a bit of comedy, I guess. I don't know, we'll say action.
Jules is a funny guy.
It was a heist action movie.
In a chicken suit.
In a chicken suit, which makes it good. And then I'm just like, well, let's do something a little different with it. I'll go almost like a slasher movie. So let's bring back the handyman, and he's just some unstoppable force of evilness, and let's call it half the cast.
I want to know if the handyman's going to silent Bob it at some point. Like he's silent the whole time, and then he says something really profound.
Yeah, really profound and eloquent in the last segment. That's up to Derek. He's gonna have to make that happen.
If the handyman makes it.
If the handyman makes it all the way up
That's
there.
true. That's
It's
true.
true. You never know what might happen to the handyman. Carol might make her own slasher movie out of it.
Very possible.
Well, I mean, based on the fact that she didn't want to do horror, I doubt it.
But that's what's fun about this, though. I mean, Keith's segment is not horror at all.
No.
I mean, it's if anything, it's more of a
Crime
drama.
drama.
A crime drama, I guess.
Yes.
Kind of
Yeah,
Ocean's
it's,
11-y a bit too.
Well, yeah, what I wanted, so I wanted to try and sort of give some, not purpose to the story, but try and give us a little bit more background as to where they're coming from, and try and make it sort of a journey. Like I wanted to make sure that going from when they're actually on the run from the handyman, I wanted to be like a staged journey to get to somewhere, and I actually wanted the story to sort of take a breather kind of thing. Heading into Act 2, I wanted to make sure I split the cast into two as well, right? So I wanted to make sure that the directors coming after me had a choice. They can either take the A story or the B story.
They can either work with Jules or
But I mean, it's just about you want to create conflict.
Sorry, Jules.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's true. This is
Easy target.
I know.
We love you.
No, but what you want to do is you want to create some conflict. You want to create some kind of sense of urgency. And that's why I was just like, well, that heist in that first part went a little too smoothly. So let's just let it come back and kind of really tear them up. So let it really screw them up. And half of them are dead. The other two are on the run now. And it's just like, you guys are screwed. What do you do now? I don't know what they did. Apparently this is what they did.
Yeah.
Which is that, but that was just my that was my general idea going in. I just wanted to really shake things up, break things apart, and see what people do with it.
He basically looked at our project and said, "That was terrible. I'm going to rip it all apart."
Yeah.
So all those characters you worked hard.
You've taken time to make this, to put this team together. I'm not going to show them ever interacting with each other. I'm just going to kill them all.
When you were a kid
separately.
and you went to the beach, did you look at like sandcastles that people built and just think, "I'm going to kick that over as soon as they walk away"?
Sometimes while they're working on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cold-hearted.
I know. I'm sorry. Not my fault.
Well, it makes sense. So you guys had how much time to film each segment, or was it just kind of up in the
It was
air?
2 months.
2 months.
2 months. And what was there any difficulties in filming it? What was it like your major challenges when filming your segments?
Well, we had location scouted and we found all the places we wanted, and every one of them fell through for a different reason.
Oh, really?
So we everywhere we shot was not where we had planned to shoot. We were looking at shooting in the Bayview workshops for the scene where Jules was being tortured, and everything was good to go. And then at the last minute, they contacted us and told us that there was some vandalism there. Some kids had gone in and pulled out all the power, like all the copper wiring.
Oh, okay.
And so we couldn't shoot there anymore.
The big underground copper wiring.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up finding the garage that we shot in, which was out in Orleans, and that worked out really well. But it didn't have the same look. Like the Bayview workshops are wild. Like they look great, but apparently they're full of pigeon shit. So we might have lucked out.
That could have worked out. You could have thrown Jules on the ground in the pigeon shed.
Yeah.
Authentically, too. You didn't have to fake it.
A bird in a bird suit.
That's a real reaction
and
right
shit,
there.
yeah.
That's method.
Well, actually,
Think of the symbolism.
it was funny.
The chicken suit, God! It should write itself.
Well, Jules didn't even end up on the ground. We were shooting, and Joni Keyworth was the one who ended up on the ground. And
Yeah.
for him, Joni, I don't know how old he is, but I mean,
But he's respectable. You don't want to throw him on the
he's a
ground.
pretty old guy. We didn't want to throw him on the ground, but he was like, "No, throw me on the ground." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Joni's
That's
awesome though.
Yeah,
Joni's awesome.
No, but that's great when actors are just totally game for whatever, and especially the actors in this, because they have no idea what's coming. They have no idea what they'll be asked to do, so they have to be pretty game. So when I sent everyone the script, I'm like, well, I'm killing you, I'm crushing your head, I'm stabbing you in the chest, and they're like, cool, man, that's awesome, let's do it. And everyone was really gung-ho about it. Everyone dug it. Everyone was having fun. And and it's fun for them because they don't know where it's going. So they don't know what they might be asked to do a dance number later on.
That's true.
I assume it ends in space. How else do these things go anyways if it doesn't end in space?
With a shower scene.
Well, yeah.
Jules in the
Only
shower.
Jules is
We
still
did we did that in Lucky. It was a terrible. I thought about it.
See, but I had no location issues.
Okay.
My whole movie took place in an apartment mostly. One bathroom, one apartment, and an alley.
But I heard Jim didn't show up one time.
We had a scheduling issue. One of the actors didn't show up. Like that scene in the alley when Matt, what's the character name? Norm? Yeah, there it is. When Norm gets killed by the handyman, originally, what's Jim's
Clive.
Clive. Let me start that over so you can catch
He knows his character.
In that scene when they're in the alley and Norm gets killed by the handyman, originally that was supposed to be Norm and Clive.
Okay.
So Matt, Swizzy, and Jim Moore. Moore? Cool. All right.
He knows his character names and his
actors.
names.
Yeah.
A director who cares.
He just kills them off.
So that was supposed to be the two of them talking, and then they get killed.
Okay.
But through scheduling issues and miscommunication, Jim couldn't make it, and we only found out as we were there setting up. So luckily, Jen Allenson was there, just helping me out, kind of as a producer, and I just threw her in the scene. Hastily wrote lines for them on like the paper. They'd be like, "Here, say something like this," or ad lib and make it better. And I just threw them in the scene, and it worked out. And then we had to figure out. So we filmed Jim leaving the apartment. And then we filmed Matt getting killed outside. So he had to die somewhere in between leaving the apartment and getting outside. So I'm like, So I'm like the stairwell, the elevator, and then we chose.
I think it worked really well.
Yeah,
It added an extra killing scene.
It did, which is always good.
Oh,
It's always good. Not enough killing in movies
No,
nowadays.
it really isn't.
Definitely not.
Wrong.
And Keith, what was the most challenging shot for you? Or
Yeah, it was
story for you?
mostly scheduling.
Scheduling?
I had a lot of locations, and it took a long time to get. So after pretty much the bulk of the script was written, there's a lot of areas that I was trying to get, like parking lots at Loblaws, parking like Shoppers Drug Mart. I was trying to get a certain look that I wanted. Like it was actually the sort of a box store that they were actually, instead of the general store that they were going to. So it was like email after emails. I actually wanted a cop car, so I was on, emailing with the OPP, emailing with the Ottawa Police, trying to get them, filling out forms, trying to get them to actually be part of the film. All of it fell through, and so that was sort of the heartache, trying to find. One of the reasons I have a sailboat and that and the alligator, and I'm old, so I'm a fan of Miami Vice. So I wanted that style. So if you actually looked, I got the mansion with the $180,000 Audi. I got some pretty nice stuff there, and I wanted the sort of the Miami Vice look. So trying to get the I had to rewrite a lot of the script because I just couldn't get some of the locations that I wanted.
Okay.
And even the mansion, I was trying to go through a realtor that I saw a house in one of the Ottawa magazines. So I was going through her for about 3 to 4 weeks and trying to set up a meeting with the owners of the house. And it was a beautiful house, very similar to the one that I had, all glass and everything. I wanted that shiny metallic kind of look to it. And the people who own the house actually went on vacation. So I said, I can't wait anymore. And I was showing some friends at work some of the shots of the house. And my coworker goes, it looks like my neighbor's house. And they're really? And he goes, yeah, it's not the same. But he says, and I don't want to really drop names, but it's his brother is actually a famous Canadian director and cinematographer. Okay. So anyway, we set up a meeting, and it took about an hour. So trying to negotiate, he didn't know what these projects were. So when you're trying to come into a
you didn't show him our segments, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I know what the project is. Can I see your 2 segments? No.
Yeah. I showed him somebody else's. So it's another totally different movie.
Show them perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, after about an hour of him trying to, sort of negotiating. I actually got the house for free.
Nice.
Oh wow.
But only on a specific day between a certain time frame. So I was luckily he's a very, very nice man, so I was able to go back and reshoot one scene that it just didn't work out. I actually lost a bit of time. I had an actor or an actress who got lost and wasn't able to make it on time to the shoot, so I had to actually refangle things. So I shot as much as I could in the morning, switched to another scene at the inside the house, come back to the front of the house, go back to the back, trying to mix up the different scene shooting. So by the time we got to shooting the back deck scene, it was I just didn't have time, and it just didn't work out. Like what we shot, I didn't like, so we were actually able to go back and reshoot.
That's good.
That's what's nice about a project like this, though. He has this big, open, fancy. He wanted everything to look big and look nice, and very different style. I was the opposite. I was like, I want everything to look dirty and small and grungy and nothing pretty.
Throw them out into a pile of garbage.
Yeah, throw them in real garbage too. Like we had to literally go through it and make sure there were no like syringes or anything.
Wow. Okay.
Because it was literally, we were in an alley and it was raining. There was a pile of garbage. I'm just like, yeah. So you kind of just fall in the garbage and roll off onto the ground. It's like, cool. Is this real garbage? I'm like, yeah, this was just here. I think it's from the Thai place next door.
No.
There's a hobo sleeping there last night.
So I mean, that's what's nice about these little movies. Director here, I'm going through the garbage to make sure there's nothing sharp that might stab him or impale him in any kind of way. And then John, who plays the handyman's hiding behind the dumpster. He's like, oh no, the needles are all over here. Like, sweet.
Even if he lands in a needle, you don't need to worry about like his union rep coming to you or any of that.
That's why I don't shoot Actra.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, sorry. Off to you, Kelley.
Yeah, well, actually, Chris, you did mention actually the atmosphere was dark and closed, and what exactly were you trying to evoke with that kind of feel?
You know what? It was one part just wanting to do something a little different from what Chitaroni did. His segment was pretty nice and shots were smooth, and because our segment was, if anything, a bit more of a slasher, and even emotionally though, I mean, we had all that stuff with Jules and Mike, and their relationship as a brother kind of coming to a head, and his brother dies, which is kind of a generally shitty thing for a person.
I liked where Jules fell asleep on the toilet.
Yeah,
it's like real life.
He falls asleep a lot.
Drunk on the toilet.
Jules can no longer fall asleep in any of these segments ever going forward.
I was worried about that.
It's been done. You can't do it anymore. But no, and all
Unless in the last scene, Derek makes him wake up on that same toilet, and none of that happened at all.
And he goes out and makes up with his brother, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that works.
It'd be heartwarming.
No, and it was just to give the segment. I'm trying to be serious here, guys.
Okay.
Trying.
It was just to make it a bit more urgent, a bit raw, a bit more kind of rough around the edges, and I specifically. Nick Séguin, who's a otherwise very good DOP, had to put up with me being like, no, that's too nice, that's too smooth, make it rough, make it ugly, pretend like you just showed up and you're shooting this and you don't know what's going on. So I wanted...
cough while you're shooting.
Yeah. I wanted to move and just go from one to the other and, keep rolling focus from one person to the other. I didn't want it to just look nice and really blocked. Mm-hmm. So just to give it a bit more of that raw feel. And then, which is nice when we get outside and we start running down the halls. And honestly, it makes it easier because we're able to do shots by going with a very kind of a shaky aesthetic that would have been really hard to pull off if everything had to be smooth and nice. It's hard to do camera handoffs when everything has to be really smooth and nice. So that's why at the end when they're running away, they get in the car, right? So they run out of the door. Nick's chasing behind them with the camera. I'm already hiding in the car in the back seat. As Jen Valens gets in the car in the front, Nick just hands off the camera to me, and I'm in the back seat with it. And Nick actually rolls focus for the inside of the car, and then we drive off. So we're able to start outside, get in the car, drive off all in one shot.
That was like my favorite shot ever.
Yeah, that was a really good shot.
That's the only reason I made the movie.
Otherwise,
I have this shot, I'm just building the whole movie around it. No, but we never could have done that if everything had to be smooth and nice and clean. It would have been, I wouldn't have bothered. So yeah.
That's cool.
Most people with epilepsy can't watch the movie.
Oh god, sit in the back row. Too much shake.
Chit, just a question for you. Actually, what did you learn from doing that shoot, and that you're probably going to take, or that you may have taken away already, or you're going to take away for your future shoots? Was there anything that you learned?
Well, Really, the big difference with this project as opposed to anything I've done before is locations. We actually went through Invest Ottawa for a lot of our locations.
Okay.
And I learned kind of the back end of like the official way to get locations, because in the past I've just kind of gone there with my camera and hoped for the best, and it's always worked. So this time we actually I got production insurance and applied for the right permits and got everything, and unfortunately the first ones that we applied for fell through, which sucked, because when you just guerrilla filmmaking, you just run in and do it. That never falls through.
Yeah.
It just works.
Until you get kicked out by security and police
But then you integrate that into the story. But which has actually never happened. We shot a movie in an abandoned house in Canada years ago. We went in and turned the electricity on. We're like, we're definitely getting busted. Didn't get busted.
Nice.
But then we officially apply for permits. Falls through. Makes you wonder.
Moral of the story is just go out and do it yourself, kids.
For sure.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah, I had it easy with that. I just shot in someone's apartment in the garage downstairs. We just showed up and did it. The building, I don't think would have been
That's
okay
the way
with
you
us
do
doing
it.
it.
They would have
So we
been,
just
for sure.
Maybe. I didn't want to take the chance, so we just showed
Just
up
like
and
that
did it.
abandoned house in Canada. I'm sure that the owners, if they were still alive, they would have let us do it. There were hobo beds everywhere.
Wow. So Keith, what did you take? So Keith, what did you take away though from your shoot for your future shoots?
I think it's just organization.
Okay.
That's one of the big things. Like I say, I don't have a lot of past experience actually doing movies, so it's trying to be as organized as I could as far as trying to line everything up. And I made a lot of mistakes. There's definitely things that I would do differently next time. But yeah, I think it's more of how to deal with the like I said, putting out casting, like not casting calls, but your call sheets and stuff like that about what's filming. And I sort of did that, but not probably on a professional level or what's done in industry standard. But yeah, just trying to probably organization. Trying like that. It was definitely my fault that that one actress wasn't able to find a house. Like I should have. I didn't give her my cell phone number. Like it was just. She was brought in a little bit later for the role, so she wasn't as party to some of the previous conversations, and so yeah, little things like that. It's
hard when you have a big cast too. You had a fairly big cast.
Big cast, and yeah, well, like I say, organization. Like for the marina, it's like I had one day, right? There was a Shakespeare festival going on. Charles Baker, who was actually in my other movies and Trust and that, it's his old sailboat, and he's still friends with the owners. So we were able to get that location, but we also have to get permission at the marina by Prescott and stuff like that. So we talked to the mayor, we talked to the owners of the marina, got all buy-in for that. But because of the Shakespeare festival, there was an amphitheater right beside where actually the handyman comes down to abduct Cassidy. It's right there, so there's no way I could have filmed what I wanted to film, filmed on those dates. So we had one date on the 18th of August, and when we got there, I started to film in the afternoon, but somebody had booked the amphitheater for the afternoon. So pretty much it was around 5:30 or 6:30 or whatever he was starting. So I lost the one scene where they're sitting in the back of the sailboat. That was supposed to be a beautiful sunset shot, but I had 3 hours that I couldn't film because it was just so loud.
Wow. Okay.
Right, with the concert going on. So it's like, all right, we all went for supper and
Watch the show.
cheers. 3 o'clock in the morning, we're just finishing up.
So Kelley, when do we get to ask you questions? This feels really one-sided.
Shoot.
So you got shot in chapter 1.
I got shot. That was actually a lot of fun.
I just don't understand how you got shot, because Mike is a lot smaller than you.
Okay, I could
you
have.
not
Yeah, I
overpower
could actually
Daddy Boy?
overpowered him, but I had to act that I couldn't
pretend
overpower
like you
him.
couldn't overpower him.
Yeah, because I really could have overpowered him easily. I was like, this is kind of weird because I could just throw him down right now.
I was watching. I said, man, like Mike's a good-looking man. No way he's overpowering Kelley Oliver.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, but script says what it says. I'm a henchman, so
I would have challenged the director on that. I would have been like,
I would have too.
this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I would have said you killed him there, and then you became a main character, and then the movie goes off from there.
For sure.
Well, it's too late now. Maybe Carol will bring me back.
Is it too late?
Maybe Carol will bring me back. Who knows? Flashback sequence with Joni and everything.
Evil twin.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Definitely
Oh,
twin.
evil twin.
Somebody's got to do that.
Yeah,
It's got to be revenge.
But with a goatee
That's
this
true.
time, you know?
Oh yeah,
Instead
that's
of a
how you know
beard.
they're evil.
That's how you know.
Okay. Who wants this question? As a director, what do you personally want to improve on?
I'll take it. You know, I don't know. Right, maybe.
That's one. I don't know.
Man, that was my answer.
Well, my segment was perfect, so I can't think of anything else.
Is there like a filming style, or is there kind of the storytelling, or is there something maybe just a unique way to tell a story that you maybe want to try differently?
I'd like to find a way to make Jules sleep. A little bit more realistically.
He drunkenly passed out in mine. He wasn't sleeping. He was passed out. There's a difference, just to be clear here. No, but it's funny when we say that jokingly. But that I was really on the fence about that. About basically having a lot of that kind of action excitement happen off camera. As he passed out and he wakes up, right? And he stumbles in there, his brother's already dead. Because in the original script, when he comes out, his brother's actually dead, already been killed, right? So then basically there's a fight and he leaves. And I was just like, I don't know. I was worried about such a big thing being off camera, right? Like his brother dying. I was worried about that being off camera. So kind of on the day, I'm just like, all right, so when Jules wakes up, like, Mike, you're not dead, you've been stabbed, you're injured, but you're not dead, because I actually do want to kill you on camera and make Jules watch it, which just seemed a lot harsher for him as a character. And so that, again, but that's what you have to do. You gotta just roll with these things on the day. Things happen, and you know, you just go with it. And so that was something we changed on the day. And I'm happy I did that. I guess that's not a regret.
Question?
I guess that's not a regret.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
That escalated quickly.
I think that's one of the key things is learning that once you're on set, like you have to roll with whatever's going to be happening. Like I get quite nervous before going. Like I can't even sleep the night before. You feel sick and that, but then once you get on set, you're actually doing something, and you know you just are responsive to whatever is given to you. Right? My new motto is "It is what it is."
Yeah.
Because you know you have these preconceived shots, and you get there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, all right, what's next?
But that's the reality of filmmaking, and
Yeah.
what makes people good filmmakers are those who are able to roll with it. Everyone can imagine the most perfect movie in the world in their head, but then when you get on set and you get actors and you get locations, and you're like, all right, this doesn't work, and you just have to roll with what you have. And, you know, nothing ever goes exactly according to how you wanted it to go. Things always change on the day. You know, it all depends on what's going on then. What are the mood people are in? How are things happening? You know, you got to be able to roll with that and just make something out of it regardless. That's my advice.
Thanks, Dad.
I think it'll make you a better filmmaker because of it.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, Chit, do you have any advice as a filmmaker? To anybody who wants to maybe direct their own kind of feature or short?
Don't do it. We have enough competition.
Oh.
Just stop making movies. No. Really, the best suggestion I have is to just make movies, because you know there's a lot of people out there that want to be filmmakers. They talk about it a lot, and they just don't do it. And there's really no reason. It's the first couple movies you make are just gonna suck. You gotta be okay with that. Except for Keith. If my fourth movie looked as good
was terrible. No one outside of my parents have seen my fourth movie, and even then they kind of regret it.
That was an awkward Thanksgiving, wasn't it?
Oh man! Hey guys, watch this awesome movie I made. Oh.
Fish heads in the attic.
And the worst is at the time you think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I watched that movie now, I don't know what it's been now, 15 years or whatever since I made that fourth movie. However long since I made it. And I'm just like, oh my god, I thought this was good.
Hey.
I'll look back on this in 10 years the same way. Like, oh my god, I thought that cliffhanger segment was good.
But that's the key. I mean, because every time you make a movie, you're going to learn and you're going to get better. And that kind of goes back to, when you ask, like, what do you want to learn as a director? And it's
Keep learning.
Just keep learning, because you don't even know what you need to learn.
Okay.
Like, you don't even know what you don't know. And the more that you work, like every time I do a movie, I learn things that I pretend I knew it before because I didn't want to look like an idiot. Like, just kind of like, yeah, of course I knew how to do that.
That was always my plan.
Yeah.
And also, a big thing from a director standpoint is that I was always more technical growing up. And honestly, I think I became a better director when I stopped being so technical and started, I guess, for lack of a better word, listening to the actors. I know that sounds stupid.
But always listen to actors.
But you can't listen too much. But you can't listen too much because all of a sudden they take over the production, and their background security guard character becomes the main character.
I don't know why you didn't listen to me that day. It would have been awesome.
But you know what? It's just like no matter how amazing your movie may look or sound, if your performances suck, your movie's gonna suck. If your characters don't make sense, your movie's gonna suck. That's why no matter how great Transformers looks, it's a terrible, terrible movie. From A to Z, it's a very bad movie.
But the girls always look so good with lens flares.
That's true.
Oh man,
Lens flares makes all
the explosions
better.
look beautiful though.
They do.
They do look beautiful.
They do.
I think that was a bad example.
No, it's a great example.
No,
it's a terrible movie.
No, it wasn't. There's worse.
By that standard, there's always worse.
Move on.
Alright, let's reset. Back to you, Kelley.
Back to me. Well, would you guys like to do something like this again? Would you, if there's another like Treepot Cliffhanger, would you apply for it again? You think, or
well, I think if we do it, or if they do another Treepot Cliffhanger, it should be new directors. I mean, it was. I would love to do it again, but I think that's the whole thing is like keeping it fresh. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep doing the same thing.
No, I mean beyond the selfishness of personally wanting to do it. No, but you know, Chitaroni's right. There should be other directors taking over doing this because it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed this a lot. It was a blast to, like I said, work off of someone's idea, trying to sabotage it, and then passing it off to someone else. It's part of the fun.
And every year, there's more people that are like, especially in Ottawa. It's crazy. Like, because I started making movies years ago. I found out about the one. Josh is gonna hate me.
Killer 63.
Killer 63. Yeah, I found out about Killer 63 right when I moved to Ottawa, and I put stuff in. That's where I met Chris years ago. His stuff was all in there, and it's like, I remember at that point it was a really small group of people. It was always the same 6 or 7 guys, and now it's like I don't even know people. There's people in the Digi 60 right now in the experienced. I have no idea who they are. Like I don't remember anything they've done. That they may have popped out of nowhere.
There's this Chris Chitaroni guy who does not belong in the great category at all.
Then there's you sandbagging in the open. I'm gonna win against all these children. Crush their dreams.
Please, my movie's not winning anything.
No, yeah, you don't win with horror.
No. You don't make friends with horror. No, you don't win awards with horror.
You don't.
You don't win awards with horror.
And on that note, actually, I'd like to thank you guys for coming today to the couch and sharing your experience on this project. I saw all the parts. They're all really good. And if you want to see the parts as well, you can go to www.indiekoala.com and you'll be able to see all 3 parts of the Treepot Cliffhanger series and any other ones that are going to be released in the future as well. So again, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you.
It was a pleasure.
This was fun.
It was a blast.
I think we're going to need a top-up of beer, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Top myself up.
All right. Thank you.
Jith, I'm sorry.